Hi everyone, so today we're going to have a further look at the scoreboard, and we're going to have a look at different sorts of scoring. This is sort of part 2 of this scoreboard videos, and today I want to look at particularly embossing and debossing. So if I can bring that up, you can see hopefully that there is a dented line and a raised line, and here is dented and raised lines. So it adds another feature. And also I want to have a look at random scoring and freehand scoring. Okay, so this one is similar to an idea we did on the last video, but this time I've made these fit a size of a punch, so I can just punch squares out, but this technique was used on the last one, so just check back to the previous video. This is another one. This one is using every line on the inches side scoreboard, so they're much closer together because there's 8 to an inch. And this one is on the centimetre side. So very attractive designs, but easy to manage. Now, if you have a look at these, I've done these all on the actual card itself. But one of the things that I really like to do is to do it on a separate piece of card, mount that up, because then I can add another colour around the edge. So we're going to have a look at first at this one, and I'm going to use just an extra piece of card. It's a linen card, and I'm going to put that just up in the top, put it on that side. Okay, I'm not going to give you particular measurements because I don't think it's necessary. Right. This is a score tool. It's got a narrow bit on that side and a ball on that side. It came with the scoreboard, but I use all sorts of tools, all sorts of sizes of ball tool. So a lot of it is experimental. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. We're going to do it slightly different. The first thing I need to do is just a mark across the background, which is just going to put my card into 2 halves, a smaller part and a larger part. And that way I've got room for my message up the top. So I'm going to turn my card over, and I'm just going to estimate a line across. So there we go. And I'm going to do 2 tram lines. That has given me my border across the top, and it's a rough guide of where I'm going to put my flowers. Turn it over, and coming down from there, I'm just going to do 3 stems, not equal, just anywhere. Right, now this is the real fun bit. We'll be putting flowers on the top of these stems. But if I go onto my inches side, the lines are very close together, and I'm going to turn it over so that I'm working on the base of the stems. And this is great fun because all I do is different sizes all the way along. Some tall, some short. And this is where I go back and I just pick up the lines I've missed. There's one there and one there. Okay, so if I turn it over and try and show you, this is my random grass at the bottom. Okay, that is real fun because you can do it and totally enjoy it. Now, I have a mat here. It's an embossing mat, but it's just a piece of rubber, nothing magic. I'm going to turn that over, and I want my ball tool. I'm going to use quite a small one. And all I'm going to do is freehand just do some leaves with the center vein put in. You can make them as complicated as you like. I will add a few extra bits in a minute. Right, so for instance, if I take this middle one, I can put extra veins in there. So let's have a look first at the difference. So this one has got the veining in it. I'm hoping it shows up. And these, I've just put the center vein. Okay, so I'm going to do one or two more with the veins. Otherwise, that one's going to look really odd. No measurements, nothing. So I've added the veins in and I'm hoping that shows up. So I'm going to just go over and do a second embossed bit over the edge of the leaves. Okay, so we're now ready to carry on decorating. So I've punched some flowers out here. So 3 flowers. I want 3 for the back. And I'm going to do another 3, which I'm going to shape. So I now go to a large ball tool and I'm going to go to the middle, round in circles and let the punch shape just run underneath here. There you go, that's all that's needed. I'm going to take my wet glue and put glue on. I don't want them all to be the same height, so I've altered the heights, but I do have this guideline across the back. So place that one on, that one, that one. Just push them down into the glue. Take the glue again. Don't worry about any of the strings. You can pull those off later. Put my second one on and I'm just staggering it between the other petals. There we go. Now I'm going to put some clear jewels onto here, and all these come in a strip, so I need to just cut through the bits of glue on there, pull those off, and we're going to go into there. So one on the center of each flower. Occasionally you'll find that the glue is left behind on the sheet. If that's the case, don't waste it. Just go back in with a bit of glue and put the glue on the back. So there is a card coming on nicely. I'm just going to shift that one round a fraction. Right, now I want to take another piece of this paper that I've used to punch the flowers and to put a background. Right, here's my piece of matching paper, and I'm carefully going to put that over there and put some double-sided tape. Ideally, you leave it for the flowers to set, but don't like you having to watch glue dry. Check they're all right. Into there is a little bit of paper sticking out, and it's up to you how you deal with this. I'm going to go round with scallop scissors. Check that they're the right way, and I'm just laying the scallop scissors along the edge here so that I can cut a fine border all the way round. The key to fancy scissors is always have enough card for the scissors to hold on to, and practice matching up one pair of scissors and really get to grips with that one design, and then add your next one in if you wish. It's too easy to use lots of different fancy scissors and never really get to grips with them. So put that one to one side. We'll bring in the base card, and there we have a lovely design. So I've quickly put that one on with spray glue. So there is our design. Okay, so purely made from the scoreboard and a few simple punches, but quite different because we've freehand done the leaves up the stem. Okay, so we'll leave that one to one side. Now, I mentioned that I find it easier to work with a spare sheet of card. So let's have a look at this one. Right, we can see that there's a line from corner to corner, and we've filled in halfway with small lines, halfway with small lines coming that way. So this one was done on the inches side, this one the centimetre. So I think being as the board is on the inches side, we'll use that. So face down with my card, and I'm going from corner to corner. This is a guideline, right? We will reinforce this one right at the end. So turn it over, and this is 5.5, so I want 2 3/4. So I'm going to come down 2 3/4 all the way down. That's my halfway point. Now I'm only doing the smaller sections. It will look quite different if I do these big sections, but let's take that out the way. So I'm going to line that up in the middle. I'm going to go back to a smaller score tool, and I'm coming down to that line. Now there is a sneaky cheat. If I take my ruler and I place my ruler along that line, so long as I come down and lift my hand upwards so that I get right down into that crease, I can use that as a stop. There we go. So there are my lines, and I haven't gone past that at all. So if I switch that to there, I'm now coming up every line. If it goes into the next one, that's fine. It will only ever score where there is a groove underneath. So, right to the end, I can go back, I can see if there's any that need a little bit extra. There we go. Let's have a look. There are my two sections that I've done with the score lines. But this one here, this centre line, I will now go back and I will just go over that to reinforce that centre line. Okay. So as long as you do it all in the right order, your embossing will look absolutely beautiful. So let's have a look at this. I've got bits of odd decoupage. I keep a box with all my small bits in, and I'm going to add that one into that section. And then I'm going to take a dark colour to match that. Here we have a nice dark colour that will make it pop. So I'm going to stick that on. Right, I'm going to put that onto there. I like to leave a lot of space around. I'm going to take the scoreboard away for the moment. And this is a ruler with a metal edge. So if I place the metal edge up against that, I can find my knife and I can come down the metal edge and I will have a fine border all the way round. A lot of people will go to get two edges right. Personally, I like to stick it in from the edge a bit and then cut all four sides. So that is lovely. Let's bring in a base card and we're going to place that onto there. So just sprayed that quickly. Beautiful. Now I've been doing a lot of cards for my local church. So let's bring in, these are printed on matte surface, self-adhesive paper and put through my printer. So I'm going to go with that one. I've done these right through the lockdown because I noticed how difficult it was for people to get cards through the lockdown because you couldn't stand in the shops and choose the right words. So putting them in the local church, people are free to go and just sit a while, and if they need a card for somebody, they're there. Okay, so very simple lines. Divide straight across, halfway down, and then score however many lines you want. Right, so that's the next one. Centimeters, and again on the inches side. Okay, so that's the next ones. Right, let's have a look at this one. This one I am going to do on the front of the actual card. And what we need is a guideline of where we're going to go with it. So this is the front of the card, and I'm going to take my ruler, and it's got a grid on it. I'm not worried too much about what size I'm doing, so long as I do the same all the way round. Make it what size you want. Where I've done the across ones, I just want to put a tiny mark just up here too. Turn it round. Tiny little mark up on that side. You'll see why in a minute. And that's so we've got our frame on here. So I'm going to bring my scoreboard back in. Doesn't matter which side, but I'm going to use centimeters. Right, so now I'm going to line this up on the scoreboard. It doesn't matter where I line it up with which line, but I only want to score where these points cross. So I'm going to go from here down and stop where that crosses there. Right. I can do the same with this one. So I start there and stop where the lines cross. Okay. Turn it round. Now, remember we put this one tiny mark at the top. I can line that one up and then pull down with that one. Okay, line this one up and come just between the crossed lines. Right, now I want to do something slightly different, and I want to put another line, 1/2 centimetre or 1/4 of an inch in there. So I'm going to line that up, and we're going to reverse this in a minute. So I'm going to come in a fraction. I don't need to go right the way down there. Turn it. Line it up and come in a fraction. I'm not going anywhere near this corner. Turn it round. Do a 1/2 centimetre or 1/4 of an inch all the way around. Line it up with 12 or whatever. Right. Okay, when we turn it over, I want you to see that we've got this second line inside. So I want to reverse one of those lines. So I'll take this one, I think. And if I line this up again, my line, I can go right from the corner and push that line back down. Now, when I do this, I can see exactly where to start and finish. So, it's one more line to press in. Line that up. Feel where the line is. It's gone slightly off. There. So if I can bring that up, we've now got a line raised and a line debossed, and that looks really good. Now I'm going to flip to the inside of the card, and I'm want to go from corner to corner. There we go. So I've got that lined up on one of my lines, and I'm going to take, I think I've got my smaller ball tool just there. So that's all right, I'll work with this one. So side to side. Now, I only want to go from the line there down to there. So I'm just, excuse me, covering that center, and I'm stopping just there. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do as many lines as you like, but then I'm going to go down there. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so they are all embossed because they're all standing up. What I want to do now is to turn that round, and I can line up my corners again from there to there, and I want to leave the outside raised. The next one I'm going to push down, up, down. So alternate ones, I am now reversing the embossed line, and if I can bring that up, that has made a real difference. So we've used raised lines, debossed lines, and this one is now a beautiful pattern in the middle, and we can work with that. So let's see what I have in my box. Turn it over, and I think we'll go with that one. So instead of having part used die cut sheets where all the little bits can fall out, I just stick them in little plastic pockets. So let's see what we've got here. So I'm going to place that one onto there. Don't be afraid to cover up some of the things that you've done. Now this one, I'm going to just take the butterfly off because I don't want the same picture. It won't look natural. This one, I'm going to lay that side. I've got an extra bit here, so I can add that to there, but I'll make it a little bit shorter. Never be afraid to change sizes and things. So we're now going to add that. Now we've made that completely different to what it was. And we're going to take this little butterfly and we're going to use that to bring some of the butterfly's wings up. So I don't want it too high, so I'm just putting it on with ordinary glue, and while it dries I will just stick a little bit of paper under there. This is off the double-sided tape, so I know it's not going to stick with the glue if there's a tiny bit of glue, and that will raise it just a fraction. Right, if you want it raised a tiny bit more, fold your piece of paper and just tuck that under there. So there is another beautiful card. So we'll pop that one over there. Now, the next one we're going to look at is again on a separate piece of card. I like to do it the same weight as the main card, and then it looks beautiful. So again, I'm not measuring, but I'm going to go for this main line on my ruler. I don't know what it is, but if you do the same all the way round. And go right to the edges. We're looking at a panel in the middle of the card. Not sure whether I've actually done a sample of that one. Maybe not. So this is working on the back of the card. And we're going to go and do this centre block like we've done before. So I'm going to take that, line it up, and I'm just going from where it crosses to down to the next cross. Turn it round, where it crosses down to there. This is embossing a frame in the middle of your card. So let's try and show that. There is my frame in the middle of the card. You can add another frame if you want to. Go on, let's go for that. We'll add a second frame on the inside. So turning it around, I'm not going right down to the corner because I can always go and adjust. If I go too far, I'm going to have to try and put it so that I cover up my tracks, but at least if I don't go to the corners quite, that's brilliant. Okay, there. I can always go back and add more. I can't take stuff away. So now we're going to have a look at something slightly different. There's our frame. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to go from the centre down as far as the frame. I'm going to miss one line, go to the next one, and keep going up to the frame. Now, when it gets to my next one, I can go straight through. From here, I can then go to that one, miss one, and come down to the frame. One, two, So I'm doing alternate lines. 1, 2, down to the frame. If it goes out of place, because you're matching this one top and bottom, you can easily go back and reposition it. 2. Once you've completed the frame, then you can go down the whole strip. So onto there. Okay. Now I'm going to rotate round so that I've got the other corner to corner, and I'm going to repeat exactly the same. So we're coming down to the frame, miss one, that one I can go straight through. 1, 2. Frame. We're going to redo the frame just in case you've managed to clip the frame with your embossing line. So don't worry too much. Right, so that's gone out of sync. So I just line that up again. That one can come straight down. Tiny one at the end. And then we're coming up. And there's the last one. Okay, so let's see what we've got now. We've got beautiful crisscrossing all the way around. And you can see I've just caught the frame line with some of those embossing lines. So simply turn it over, line up your marks again, and just go from corner to corner. So where the lines cross, tiny bit too far, so just rub it back down, and let's bring that up, and there you've got a beautiful frame with now an embossed background. So let's have a look what I've got in my box. And probably going to be too big, so let's take one of those and undo my little bag and see what we've got inside. So I have one main piece. I'm not going to use that one because it's very fractionally smaller. And this one, I've got a couple of bits. And I am going to raise that up. So I'm going to add a piece around here. And we'll be back. Right, I'm going to show you another trick that we can do. Let's move these off my scoreboard for the moment. we go. Now on here, if I measure this, it's 13.5. So the mat I want to put on here is going to be 14.5. So it's 1 centimetre bigger. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go for 15. I'm going to make it slightly bigger on 2 sides. 15. I'm going to cut that out, but I'm leaving that score line on there. So make it a little bit bigger than you actually want. Now I can turn it round. Let's see which way I've embossed it. So I've gone down. Right, so I've now evened up this end and I can make it now the right size. So I'm coming down 14.5. If I'd have cut it 14.5, I wouldn't have been able to get this extra score line in. So I'm going to turn it. I want that to form part of the decoration. So there we go. So I'm going to cut that out, leaving the score line on. So whatever size you've put your embossing on here, just make one slightly bigger. Now, if I can lift that up, we've now got a mat all the way around, but the mat has got this embossed edge now on it, which adds to beauty of the card. So let's put that onto there, straighten it up a bit. It's better. And then we're going to go on to the base card. So there is our card. We've now got this piece in the middle. So I'm going to take that, and that will fit right in the middle of my frame. And I'm not sure that I like that bit there. So I'm going to just take my scissors, and I do like the flowers. So I'm just going to take the flowers off there. Just take the flowers and put them so they match onto there. I've got sticky fingers now where I've been spraying glue. And this one here, I'm going to continue the flowers just along that base. Okay. So always think how you can use up the bits. I now have this bit left over, which I can use on another card. I have that piece I can decoupage if I want to. But personally, I think I would just use that as is. So there is the next card. Simple frame and simple scores, catches the light on the background. Okay, So embossing and debossing, and that includes an embossed frame, a debossed frame. Another one, let's take that out. And you can see now we've got springy wings that will spring back when you put them in an envelope. Scoreboard across the middle and every line embossed. That's on inches. Score line across the middle. Note these are going different ways, so it doesn't matter which direction you do them. This one every ½ centimetre. There. This one punched flowers, 3 lines for the stems and freehand embossed leaves, and just roughly every embossing line, any height to make the grass. Okay, so there's another one without the border around it. So simple scoreboard. This one's 2-sided, but just play around with what your scoreboard will do for you. Enjoy. God bless you all. Happy Christmas.